Hi, I'm Jess. Welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing the Badass Ladies book tag. I feel kind of out of it today. I wasn't going to do a video today, so I'm just like doing this spur of the moment, which is why it's super weird. So let's just get on with the tag. The Badass Ladies book tag was created by reader Skeeter, and it's perfect for me because Badass Ladies are like my favourite thing. Oh, BT dubs, I'm not just being really boring, I'm just like super chill. So, right, I'm gonna stop like talking and actually do the tag. The questions on this are all centered around badass women from DC and Marvel Universe. So, the first question is Harley Quinn, who is your favourite villain? And for this, I picked my bae, my love, Cersei Lannister from Game of Thrones. Hells yeah, you heard that right. She is like one of my favourite characters. I just love her. The good thing about this series is that everyone is terrible apart from Sansa. Everyone's dark, everyone's evil, but in varying degrees and for different reasons. Cersei does have her reasons. I think that she loves her family. In some cases, she loves them a little bit too much. But yeah, I just think she's great. I think she's badass. I think she's strong. She makes some stupid decisions, but she's aware of what she's doing more so than Jamie, who makes loads of stupid decisions, some of which are really similar to Cersei's, but everyone still loves him. But let's not even get into the disparity between how we see male characters and female characters, because that is like a discussion for another time. Let's just move on. Question 2 is Fear Queen, favourite friendship. For this, I picked Kara and Kaelin from the Sword of Truth series by Terry Goodkind. I love this series. This is the 6th book. There's like 12, 14 books, all like big. It's high fantasy. There was a TV show made of it a few years ago called Legend of the Seeker. If you have not read this, you should read it. Kara and Kaelin are two of the women in this little band of heroes. And I picked the 6th one because in this one they hang out pretty much by themselves for the whole book because the main character, the main dude, like goes off somewhere. These guys are so lovely because when you first meet Kara, she is an enemy. Kaelin doesn't trust her, and there's various reasons for this, but then throughout the course of the books you see them grow closer and closer until they're best friends, and they each teach one another. Kaelin teaches her not to judge people as much and not to be as closed off, and Kara learns to respect Kaelin and learns that there are other ways to be strong. The next question is Iris West, favourite love interest. And for this I picked Stella Parrish from Alias Hook. I love Stella so much. She's so cool. Basically, in the plot of this book, Captain Hook is trapped on Neverland and he thinks he's never going to get out until one day Stella arrives and changes how they work in Neverland. And she is a character that has been through a lot of trauma and she wanted to escape her life. But in doing so, she kind of found what brings her back to life and what allows her to carry on in her normal life. And they both work together, Hook and Stella, and they learn from each other and they heal from each other, and it's just really wonderful. And she's smart and she's badass, got this really nice vulnerability to sort of offset that as well. And she believes in fairy tales and she loves books, and she's just like, she just represents this great hope to James or Hook. And she's just really willing to believe in magic and want that and search for that. Next question is Felicity Smoke, and this is favourite sidekick. For this, I picked... What's her name? For this, I picked Cassie Maddox from In the Woods, or In the Woods and the Likeness, which are the first 2 books in the Dublin Murder Squad series. What am I doing? I was going to put this back and why? Whilst the second one focuses on Cassie, I picked this one because she is more of a sidekick character, as she is the partner to the main character because they're all companion novels. In this one, it's really interesting to read actually because you're seeing her through Rob's perspective, which is the main character in this book. So she seems more of a sort of plucky sidekick because you're not reading from her point of view. But that being said, she is really wonderful. She's quick and she's snarky and she's snappy and she's cool, but not in a pretentious way, in a real way. That's the good thing about these books. All the characters feel really real. And when you're reading it, you just feel like you would really want to be best friends with her. Next question is Cara Danvers, a girl who kicks ass. Now, there is one later on that is human that kicks ass, which implies that I should have picked someone who was not human for this, but I didn't. I picked a human, so whatever. You'll have 2 badass humans. And the human I picked is Nora from the Strange Trilogy. This is the 3rd one, but this is one of the nicest covers, so that's why I'm helping this one out. So essentially this series takes place during a vampire apocalypse, and when I say vampire, I mean monster vampires, and it spreads like a virus. And she is the love interest of the main character, who is this sort of cliche alcoholic maverick genius, but Nora is the one that stays strong throughout the whole trilogy. She doesn't let it change who she is the same way the main character does. The main character becomes broken, but Nora never lets that happen to her. And she spends a lot of the time looking after her mother, who I think has dementia or Alzheimer's, but she goes to get her and she tries to look after her. And it's really lovely to see that because she doesn't lose sight of what's important. She lets this apocalypse and this terrible situation remind her of what's important, and that is why she's able to keep going and not be defined by this apocalypse. And she's also not defined by her romantic connection with the main character. When he's been a douchebag, she tells him, and like certain things happen to their relationship, and it's just really nice to see her calling him out on bullshit basically and living her own life. Also, Nora is a woman of colour, so double points on representation. Next question is Scarlet Witch, and this is a character who has suffered loss. Now, another Game of Thrones one with Sansa Stark. Spoilers ahead for the first Game of Thrones book and maybe like 1 or 2 of the others. So. Sansa, my poor beautiful little angel, my poor tiny princess, she just gets put through the ringer, and she gets so much hate. I think that if more people had read the books, then she wouldn't get as much hate, because she's like 12. She's like 12 and 13, and she's basically lost her entire family after trying to help them and save her dad, and she has to watch him die, and just all of this horrible trauma, and then all of the crap with Littlefinger, aka the grossest guy in the world. But Sansa is very gentle, and I think that that's meant to be a good thing, because people compare Arya and Sansa so much, but Arya is on her way to becoming like a psychopath. Sansa is getting her revenge in a slightly subtler way and a slightly more effective way, simply because she's learning to play the game in a different way from her sister, and that's okay, because guess what, guys, all people are different, all girls are different. I think people hate on her for being feminine, and I think that's gross. It makes me so sad because Sansa is gentle and kind and nice, and she wants to be with her family, and she wants to be happy, and it's so sad that that's who all of this horrible stuff has happened to. I think she's going to learn from these experiences. She is learning in the last couple of books from these experiences. But she continues to learn and come through this, but still retain that kindness, because I think that that's what this kind of emotional battle is all about. The next question is Sky, and this is someone who learns they are more than human. Now, I do not have a book to hold up, but my choice is Gemma Doyle from the Gemma Doyle trilogy, the first one being A Great and Terrible Beauty. And it is not a spoiler, as it is essentially the plot of the first book, that she finds out she is a witch. Because this trilogy is set in the Victorian times, Gemma's powers sort of marry really nicely with the oppression that women faced at the time. So it becomes this exploration of what it means to be a teenage girl, and not even just back then. I think it resonates now because it's about finding out who you are despite all the pressures of society, which Gemma tries really hard to do, but she doesn't always feel like she fits in with the rest of them, and she feels the responsibility of having these powers. They always say that she's very mysterious, and I think part of it is not quite knowing where she belongs in the world and what these new powers quite mean. Next is Agent Carter, and that is a human that kicks ass. For this, I picked Katniss Everdeen from The Hunger Games. I think this is really fitting because Mockingjay is out in like 2 days, and my soul is ready. Katniss is just awesome and badass, but she's kind of badass for different reasons than we usually see. She's badass because she has to be. She's strong because that's the only way that she's even been able to survive. But then she's also got that sense of vulnerability as she suffers through PTSD and trauma and grief and loss. And I always loved that she was doing it for her sister, because ladies supporting ladies. Next is Gemma Simmons, and this is a girl who's really smart. And for this, I went classic, I went old school, I went major favourite book, major favourite character. Elizabeth Bennet from Pride and Prejudice. Lizzie, Eliza, Miss Bennet, my love. She's one of my all-time favourite characters. She's smart, and she's intelligent, and she's witty and clever, and she doesn't take any bullshit from Darcy, and she's caring and loving and protective and fierce, and all of the adjectives. She's all of the adjectives. She's amazing, and I love her so much. And last but not least, in this hot mess of a video, last is Caitlin Snow, a character that is slow to warm up. And for this, I picked Tris Pryor from Divergent. And as far as I'm concerned, this is where the series ends. I think in the beginning, Tris is quite quiet, but she is sort of burning away inside there, wanting to break out, and that is what Divergent is about. And that's how she kind of warms up and becomes dauntless. But I think it's also because she is very closed off for the majority of all of the books, really, until she kind of slowly learns that she can trust other people. Because in the first book, she's fighting against them, so she doesn't want to connect with them. And then it kind of, all of the events kind of pile up on top of her, and she sort of becomes a different person. And then her journey is relearning which parts of her she wants to keep. Okay, so that was for Badass Ladies Book Tag. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you again soon.